Guys, welcome back to another episode of Private Parts. Liv is currently on holiday, so you are in for a treat because you've got me, Ruby Adler, hosting the episode with my wonderful friend, Georgina Curtis, Queen of PR. Hi! Woo! So you've got two supply teachers for this episode, myself and Georgina, or I should say Georgina and myself. What we're going to discuss, so many fun things. I also asked you guys on social media to send in your crazy dilemmas, struggles, you name it. I wanted to know all the tea and you guys did not disappoint. So thank you for sending them in. We're actually going to discuss them later in today's episode. Okay, right, George, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Cheers to us. So for those that don't know me, well, I'm hoping that you do, but I've known Liv for God knows how long, a long time. We filmed Made in Chelsea together. We have travelled the world together. We have not fallen out yet, so that's a bonus. She's one of my closest friends. She will be a bridesmaid at my wedding one day. I love her so much. I miss her right now, but I know she's having a lovely time away. So you've got us for the day. How did we meet? Because I was trying to think about this the other day. Georgina's one of my oldest friends, one of my great friends. We just went to Paris together for my birthday. You took me,
a
which
little
was so
surprise
nice.
trip, your 30th.
It was gorgeous. But we met when you were working for L'Oreal.
I was working at L'Oreal. I was actually working at an event, I think.
What an event?
And
I was at?
And this is the funny thing because we've come from like two different sides of the action. I was in PR and like advocacy. We were doing an event for a makeup brand, and
Do you remember the first time we looked eyes? No,
I don't think I do. No,
right.
Sorry about that. It was an event, and we met and
we just hit it off.
Yeah, hit it off.
It's quite rare that you meet people nowadays, like friends, like in your later 20s, and you just like click and like actually see so much of each other and like are very involved and intertwined in each other's lives. I feel like, and it's so nice and it's so refreshing because a lot of the friends that I have in my life currently, I've got amazing friends and great people around me. A lot of people that I actually met in my like more adult life rather than like my younger life and my teenage life and my school life. Yes, I've got great friends from growing up who I still see, but life often goes in such different directions, and it's actually quite nice to be able to like have some common ground. And I feel like that's why you and I have always got on, because we've, you know, both been in like similar fields in some ways.
Also, you have to make such an effort when you're older to
you
see
do.
people.
Otherwise, it's like see you in 2027.
Exactly.
Who's got time for
I
that?
feel we're an absolute nightmare.
No, we're actually all right.
We're actually quite
We're
good.
on quite good track at the moment.
In comparison to some of my other
know.
friends, we're good. Yeah, if you don't basically make an effort to...
You don't have any mates, do you?
It's just not going to happen.
No, I agree with that. I like the spontaneity of like our friendship, and there's certain friends that I've got, rather than being like, see you in 3 weeks time for lunch, I can text you on a Friday being like, I've had a really shit week, do you want to go for a glass of wine?
Yeah, but that's
same day, and you're like, yeah, do you know what, I'm not doing a lot either. And I love that we can do that, and I've got other friends that I do that with, and I think that's what keeps friendships alive.
100%. You need like those people around you. I mean, it probably helps that we're local to each other, but
it helps that you also live in Fulham,
and also it helps that we both like a rosé.
Like wine and the pub.
Got a lot in common.
Yeah. I just turned 30.
You did. You were quite nervous about it for a while, and then all of a sudden you became quite excited.
I know. I don't know. Nervous was the wrong word. I wasn't nervous. I just think that like turning 30, I had lots of thoughts and opinions, and I, growing up, thought I would be in a slightly different space coming into 30. I think when you're younger and you think, I thought, oh God, I'll be married with kids.
Oh my God. Everyone thinks that though.
Mortgage at 26, ring at 28, 2 kids and a husband by 30. 2 kids and a husband. I'm hoping for that by 40. So in some ways, I feel like society puts quite a lot of pressure on these standards. All my friends are sort of in committed relationships and married. I've gone to loads of my best friends' weddings this year, which has been incredible. But, you know, I'm not there yet. And I think that I had moments where I almost thought that like that was like I'd failed in some ways. But, you know, ultimately deep down, I don't feel like I failed. I've achieved so much, and I've got amazing people around me, and I'm happy and I'm healthy, and that's what it's all about, really.
100%.
And, you know, love and the right love will come in time, and I don't think I was quite ready in the lead up to all of that. And, you know, I've had this like awakening, and like turning 30 was like quite poignant to me, and I actually was like, this is a new start. I'm ready and I'm excited.
It's a new chapter.
And I feel
it's
more
exciting.
confident than ever. I feel really happy. And like, I was just, I'm ready. I'm ready for the new decade. Someone asked me the other day how old I was. And I go 20, 30. 30. It was the first time I said it.
How did it feel saying it out loud though?
Just a bit more real, I think. That's how it felt. But good. I feel good. I mean, yeah, feeling good.
I think it's actually really nice though.
Celebrating.
So much fun celebrating.
Yeah.
Lots of wine.
Well, you're not quite there yet, which is really annoying.
I'm not quite there yet, but
turn
I do also feel like it's actually important that you're like quite open about the fact that, you know, you've turned 30 and you aren't in a place that you feel like that you wanted to be maybe like when you were 25. But
I also know that I was never ready really up until the last year or two.
No, because there's no timeline.
For the marriage and the commitment and the kids. I thought to myself at moments that I was really ready for all that. But looking back, I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I don't think I was mentally at a place for that. And I also don't want to do it for the sake of doing it. I want to do all those things with the right person for the right reasons, not getting married or getting engaged or having children because everyone else is and I feel like I should and I don't want to be alone. And don't get me wrong, I've, you know, been with people because I've not really wanted to be alone, and that's scary, and I've had my own battles with that. God, it's still got a bit deep, hasn't it? But yeah, all good.
But no, it's good because I think it's relatable and there is no correct timeline. I think people do, like, they put pressure on themselves and that's where they end up then with people that they actually don't really want to be with. And then
the surge of divorces.
Yeah, the stats are crazy.
The age and generation we're in at the moment with, you know, society's pressures and social media being so prevalent and what, you know, consistently just watching other people's lives, whether that be what they look like, what they're wearing, their relationship status, their wedding, and you know, you end up looking at, you know, so and so getting married, and you kind of, it takes it all away from the wedding. You're looking at the venue. Where did they get married? Who did they marry? How wealthy was he? Like, and you know, we've all done it, and we've all, you know, asked those questions, and I think with that comes this like sense of competitiveness and sense of like, I need to look X, Y, and Z good, and I need to keep up appearances because, you know, if I don't, I'm worried I'm not as good as the next person. And that's so sad in some ways because, you know, I'd like to think I'd like to age gracefully, but I know that I need to do that with some Botox.
And I think that a lot of people have that mindset. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on like feeling like being open about that and being transparent about that?
About what I've done or what like
what are your thoughts on people being transparent about the treatments and procedures that they've had?
Surgery. I think it's great. I know that Kylie Jenner, I don't know if you saw recently, posted about what she'd had done boob job wise, about what CC she went, who she went to.
I'm grateful for that information. Oh my God. Like, let me write this down.
Yeah, literally, I was like, fuck. I wish I could do mine all again. But like, she looks amazing. People are going to have mixed opinions. And I love this new era for her because I feel like she's really happy. I'm speaking about this like I really know her. She's my great mate. She looks really happy. And I think when you're really happy in a good space, you sort of like want to ooze that out from every aspect of your life. And she's therefore being more transparent and more open. And I love that for her. And I love that for society. And if we could all be a bit more like that, bar myself, because I'm not telling anyone what I've had done, then, you know, no, I'm joking. I think it's a good move.
I think it's a good move. And I think, I mean, it's the thing on social media, isn't it? That, like you were saying, we're looking at people, you know, our friends, celebrities, like whoever, every single day. Yeah. And we're seeing all of these like beautiful pictures. It's not real life. But, you know, I think maybe for the younger generation, God, like that scares me. Now. I have a younger sister who is 18 and it terrifies me what she sees online. I was having a conversation, actually, maybe I'm just really naive about like editing pictures and things, but I was away with some friends on holiday and they were doing the whole like, you know, just a little airbrush here, a little airbrush here. And I had no idea. Guilty. Like, but I had no, I maybe I'm just really naive because I had no idea sort of like the detail that you can go to like edit pictures and stuff. Show you. Great, you can that's not the do point. A little lesson.
But like, it is quite scary.
It is scary, and if I don't know that, then my younger sister definitely doesn't know that, and then she's like, you know, looking at all of these pictures and looking up to all of these people, and I'm not talking about like celebrities as well. I'm talking about like, you know, your neighbor, like, or like the girl you go to school with.
I think there's a huge amount of pressure on younger girls and younger guys. And I think, you know, like growing up as a teenager, I felt was hard enough, let alone doing that horrible. All with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, like, you know, everything that they're subjected to is crazy. And like beauty standards are just getting wilder and wilder. But then also in some ways, I feel like some people are like stripping back on it, and that's almost becoming cooler. And like the generation, like, you know, Gen Z at the moment, they don't wear like layers and layers of makeup, and I love that for them because they absolutely shouldn't, and they're babies, and they should. I hope that people can embrace the skin that they're in and feel good and not be insecure, because there's nothing worse. But it's hard with the media.
It's such a tricky one, isn't it? Because I love social media. I think it's a great thing. It's like a massive part of what we both do.
Of course.
I mean, it pays the bills. We can't do without it. But
no comment.
But you know, it is like sort of the worst enemy as well, I think, in many aspects.
It's on the game.
I'm tired of it. Why do women feel like they need to tear down other women to make themselves feel better? I will never understand it.
I will never understand it either. And what I sometimes find frustrating about online trolling is I've been subjected to it, you know, quite heavily over the last few years, putting myself in television and reality TV. You're always going to be subjected to people's opinions. I don't think people quite understand like what goes into making a television show, and like, you know, certain conversations that I have, I would not naturally have if we weren't filming a television show.
Yeah, exactly.
But we are, and we want to bring the drama, and we also want to make a good show. And I think people kind of sometimes lose sight of that. And when they do bring their opinions, which everyone's entitled to, but I would love to remind people that like, you wouldn't necessarily say that to me if you saw me walking down the street.
No.
You wouldn't come up to me and say the things that you would type to me online. So what makes that okay just because you're not saying it face to face?
Oh, I think,
and you know, words can be very hurtful as well. And I think, you know, everyone talks about the Be Kind movement, and I just sometimes think that people forget like that words, you know, if we're told something in abundance, like it does have a real knock-on effect, and we've seen that through social media. And it's just a shame that people, I would never watch an hour of something and think, I didn't like what she said, so I'm going to let her know. Like, why can't you just internalize that and try and see the bigger picture? But I also understand that, like, you know, doing TV, it's given me a great platform, and you're always everyone is entitled to their thoughts and opinions, but not everybody.
Keep them to yourself.
I guess it's not just, you know, social media comments that can be hurtful. I know that like recently there's been like a few like wild articles that have gone out, and the press have felt quite relentless, and I feel like it's actually been quite unfair with what they've written.
It's been really hard actually seeing you like go through it, like as from a friend's perspective. Like it's horrible, like seeing these things come out, knowing they are complete lies as well, like and just knowing like how you must be feeling, like reading that and seeing that and having people send it to you.
I think it's like so much lack of control with the press, and that's what I struggle with, because there's no like working relationship there, and then they catch wind of something, and then suddenly it's, you know, words are spun and words are used that aren't true, and then words are sort of capitalized, like as if they're shouting cheat.
Yeah, that was
what?
When I read that, I was just like, how can you categorically just like lie about something like that? Like, I just don't like, how can you label someone with cheat when, where's the evidence?
I know.
Where is it?
There isn't any, but it's just, yeah, it's unfair how people can just run with things. Like, you know, I guess like this is a moment for me to just remind people that like, don't believe everything you read, and I wasn't in a committed relationship. I'm definitely not a cheat. And yeah.
Take things with a pinch of salt.
Take things with a pinch of salt. I guess it's really easy for people that potentially aren't in the industry, or you see a headline and you see things online, you see things in the papers, and you automatically believe it because you feel like it's coming from a place of trust, and they've got this great platform to print things that are newsworthy. So for someone on the other side of it and seeing my name in headlines for something that's not true is hugely frustrating and very saddening and upsetting.
But it baffles me how people think that, like how many people believe it. Like I'll be, you know, like sitting with a group of friends and they'll be like, oh my God, did you read da 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 like the other day? And I'm like, do you actually seriously think that's like the truth?
I know.
Like think about it.
But then you can't bash them for believing it, because, you know, these huge headlines and these huge publications that, you know, are written by professional journalists, you think, well, there's got to be some truth there, because otherwise how are they able to write what they write and use the words that they use? But that's something I'm battling with, because I'm the only one that knows the truth, because I'm living my life. And when I'm seeing things, and it's not just a recent matter, it's over the years I've seen, you know, I don't think my relationship with the press has been particularly healthy. I don't really ever read anything particularly positive about myself, when there's huge amounts of great things going on. But I guess essentially that's not going to get the views. No one really wants to read about me doing a clothing line. They want to read about me cheating.
Exactly. They want the drama. They want the goss. It's not a good headline, unfortunately.
No, it's not. I guess from a PR perspective, how do you save me? I'm joking. From a PR perspective, how would you deal with a crisis, a PR crisis?
I think it's different for everyone, but I mean, you actually addressing it right now is like the best thing you could possibly be doing, because you are just like shutting like the rumors down. I think the issue is, if you don't address things, then you can just let these like lies like run and run and run. And you know what things are like on social media, another thing will like crop up, and like someone will take a piece of information from here and there. I think addressing it from the get-go, you know, maybe it's different if you actually are guilty of certain things. Like maybe you don't address things if you're guilty of it for a certain reason. But you know, if you're telling the truth and you feel like there's something that's being said that's not true about you, then I think, my advice would be to address it head on and stand up for yourself.
Anyway, moving on from all the crap. Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about my 30th.
Oh, we had the best time celebrating.
We had such a good night, didn't we?
Well, we went to Paris,
yes,
first of all.
You and Isabella took me. That was so fun.
We took you on a little surprise trip to Paris.
I wish we'd gone for like a week.
I know, it was too
so
too
hard
short
with our schedules.
But then your birthday party.
Yeah, that was so fun.
I just loved how like everyone you had round that table, I could just like, they were all just like your closest people. And it was so nice. Like the love that I felt in the room was so special.
Do you know what? I felt really loved on my birthday. Not that I haven't previously, but this year, obviously it was a big birthday, but I felt so like valued and appreciated, and I felt so special, and I was so well and truly spoilt by my family, by you, by my friends. Like people couldn't have done any more for me, and it was a really like, that was the best birthday.
It was so fun.
It was really great.
It was so nice.
Initially I wanted to have this huge 30th birthday party, and that was my plan, and I was gonna rent a private room somewhere and have like 60 people, and then that turned into like nearly 100. And then like a week before, no, that's so dramatic. Like 3 weeks before, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
But I think when people are planning birthdays, I think everyone's like, yep, okay, I need to do something really big and really extravagant. And then you realise, actually, I only really want to celebrate with my nearest and dearest anyway.
Why am I suddenly covering for like everyone in their +3?
Exactly.
Like, I'd rather
not.
No,
thank you. I don't really want to be celebrating with
this.
Someone I don't even like.
No, I was like, look, all I need is like you, my mum and dad, Central C, and then like it's like table for four.
But what? He wasn't there.
I know.
I was expecting him to be.
The only awkward thing sometimes with birthdays, and I know you'll get me on this, is like, you know, when you're bringing in loads of different friendship groups. I say loads, like I've got like hundreds of friends, but like, you know, you've got different friends from school, friends from
that
work.
They're not going to get on?
Yeah, like I guess more so in my early 20s, before everyone was really intertwined. I've done quite a few birthdays now, so like they kind of all know each other. They see each other once a year at my party. But like, do you ever find initially, when I sort of, from my work friends, my Storm friends, I don't really have that many friends from school, but like different friends from different walks of life. I feel like I've lived so many lives.
I mean, to be fair, I think everyone at your birthday, like you probably, I feel like when you get to like 30, you've kind of like
say it again.
Say it again. Sorry, just had to get it out there.
See you soon. 7 years. 6.
Not far off. 6, 5. No. What was I saying? No, I think when you get to 30, you actually end up having, you sort of have like filtered all the like bad friends out. Like you've kind of filtered the wrong friends out.
Yeah, that's a really good point actually. You don't have time for the bullshit.
Therefore, anyone that's actually like was at your birthday, I felt like regardless of whether they didn't get on with like the person they were sitting next to, they're like mature enough and they don't really care, because they're celebrating you, and they know that that's like the whole point of like it being your birthday.
I wish birthdays could go on for ages. I worked well under the like attention. It was really fun.
You were like it was that like, it's like that whole meme where it's like, I don't like attention.
No, it was like no, that's literally me. I like loved it. I was so sad when it was all over. But no, I hear what you're saying. Like it's you know, everyone's mature enough, and it was. I don't really have any friends that don't get on either. Like everyone's like, we're all quite a close group now.
You don't, yeah.
There's just
there would have been like, I don't know, for me a few years ago, if I had intertwined
would it have been a bit awkward?
It would have been awkward.
Fine.
Or it would have been an issue.
Between who? Like work friends and like other friends from growing up?
I think there's like and I've spoken to quite a few people about this actually. There's usually a bit of tension where you have like your old friends, like people that you grew up with, people you went to school with, and then like the new friends you make in your like early like adulthood, and like maybe like your like work friends. And I feel like there's sometimes like a little bit of like jealousy that goes on.
Yeah.
I think, you know, people are like, like I don't want to lose my friend. And then there's like a bit of like tension, conflict there.
Yeah.
I definitely felt that for sure.
Right. What are the signs? Okay, if you were to talk to me about the first signs of good chemistry or having good chemistry with someone, what would you say?
Ooh, I would say eye contact would be like a massive thing.
Yeah.
But then just like being able to like get on the same level in terms of like humor.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you have the different sense of humor, then
no,
there's no chemistry
there. I just feel like you have it or you don't. Like you just,
you do.
It's not like you, I know within seconds, it's like,
love how you just moved the
so
mic.
Passionate. Like I honestly know within seconds, like if I'm going to have chemistry with you, if I fancy you, there's no growing.
Yeah.
It can strengthen and I can feel more, but I know if I fancy you and I know if I have chemistry with you almost instantly.
Instantly?
But quite quickly.
I think I need like 5-10 minutes.
No. Yeah, no. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, 10 minutes is fine. like I'm not saying like that 1 second, but like that night is what I mean. Like that evening, that day, 10 minutes in. But like I'm not being like, I'm going to give it 3 dates and like still not sure. Like I'll know. That's my point.
I think I can, like after one date, I know if I'm going to see someone or not.
Like you want to, you want to
fancy someone.
Yeah. Kiss them, touch them. Such a good feeling, isn't it?
Fancying someone, yeah, of course it is. It's like a nice, like, warm feeling.
It's more than nice. It's just like, oh, this is my favourite. What happens if you've got great chemistry with someone but the sex doesn't match?
This has actually happened before.
Has it? Tell me.
I think in my head, you can make it work, but I don't think you can.
Right, so in your head you want to make it work, but you don't actually think you can make it work.
Yeah, because I think it actually sometimes is quite difficult to find someone that you like have chemistry with or like click with in a certain way.
So then you're like almost disappointed if the sex is like not quite there because you're like, hold on a minute, I do fancy you, so why is this not working?
But I do also think that can like grow with time.
I think the sex thing or the chemistry thing?
The sex thing.
No, I don't think anyone has great sex on the first night. Like you barely know each other. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're dating and it's the first time you have sex, like, but the chemistry thing. Oh wait, no, sorry.
Wait, this is gonna mess us up, but no. I actually think that if you have chemistry, I think the sex will maybe not be good from the get-go, but I think eventually
I agree. You'll get there.
Sex, yeah. I just think like, yeah, if you have that chemistry and you really fancy someone that much,
so
like,
then you'll make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Examples of bad chemistry. I'm trying to. Oh God, there's nothing worse.
Bad chemistry.
Like someone can be so visually, aesthetically beautiful. Like you can agree to go on a date with someone or be speaking to someone, and then like you see them and they're still beautiful, but it just doesn't work.
I don't know, but sometimes like I've like found people really attractive, and then as soon as they open their mouth, I've thought, I really now don't find you attractive at all.
I've had it when I've, in the past, this is like quite a while ago now, but I was messaging someone. I was like, oh my God, this is his chat. He's funny. He's fit. The chat's there. He's like communicating really well. We've arranged to see each other. And I've been like, this is like, I feel like I've been stitched up because I'm like, there's like, what, who was I talking to? Your mate? Because this is just not the one. And I've not wanted to see them again. And then you feel really disappointed. You almost feel like you've been catfished.
Wait, this is actually really funny. And I don't know whether I've told you this or not before, but I went on a date and I kind of felt the exact same thing. Like we were like texting a lot and like I felt like the energy was really good. We were like sort of going back and forth. And I went on the date and he had absolutely no chat. I then like sort of went back on our messages because it was almost like too good, like the like things that he would come back and say. And then I noticed that there were hyphens in a lot of the messages. And I thought,
oh my God, so he's copied and pasted?
No, ChatGPT.
He'll say. He's
And yeah. And I outright asked him.
He's ChatGPT.
And he literally went red. He went red. And he was like, what are you talking about? No, that's just how I type. And I was like, that's a lie.
Oh my God. And did he admit it in the end?
Yeah.
He goes, yes, I spoke to you via chat. I can't, in such disbelief, I can't speak. He spoke to you via chat.
Oh, no, he didn't admit it.
Oh, he didn't admit it?
No, why would you admit that?
That's such an ick.
But he did try gaslight me into thinking that that was...
So there's no chemistry there?
No, because I was talking to a robot the whole time. And not him. Also, another thing, I am so bad at replying to people, as you know.
Oh my God, funny that.
She'll literally like, you literally...
Stalk you, yes,
yeah,
I do.
Stalk me to get hold of me. I like won't reply to people for like days at a time. Like 2 weeks
I feel like you
sometimes.
sit on WhatsApp one day, you decide 3 weeks in.
Yeah, I do.
Today's the day I'm going to just respond to everyone. But does that not become so overwhelming in itself?
Yeah,
because
it
if
does.
I'm not on top of my WhatsApp,
I need to get a work phone, basically. That's the issue. But basically, going back to the point was... I'm really bad at replying to texts. So like
I know.
I also no, but like also like with dating, that's probably like it's not very ideal, is it? And I always feel bad, although I continuously do it. I always feel bad like for having left it quite a long time. He was replying instantly, like as in literally like so he was copy and pasting straight into ChatGPT.
Was he good looking at least?
Not really.
Right, guys, so that is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to talk about all your confessions and dilemmas. Guys, welcome back to Private Parts. It's me, Ruby Adler. I've stepped in for Liv Bentley, my wonderful friend who's currently away, and I've got the lovely Georgina Curtis. We are your supply teachers today. Okay, lesson number 2, lessons in red flags.
Okay.
What's the ultimate first date red flag?
I have so many. I'm just like, I don't really know if I can...
Breath.
Breathy.
Yeah, imagine someone breathy like on your face.
I actually haven't experienced that, but I can imagine it could be quite bad.
God. Neither have I. I'm just really imagining like that would be really not nice. Also, like I don't really like men like with open like shoes, like open toes, like at the beginning. Like
have you been on a date with?
No, but like you know when you're abroad and you're in the summer and then like people like approach you and I'm like, put some shoes on.
I don't want to see your toes.
No, like I'll do it if I really like you. Like then see your feet. But like, no
toes for Ruby.
Also, like, don't really like it when they like have just eaten and then like try and talk to you and like just kind of smell a bit of food. Like hygiene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would also say, and this is really controversial.
What?
But like the whole like them being basically being awkward around paying for the bill. I'm not saying you need to pay for the bill, but don't be awkward about it.
Make a decision or don't.
Make a decision.
Yeah.
Make it like, and just be like confident with your
do
decision.
everything you do with confidence.
I think it being like really awkward about it, like it just that gives me the ick.
I know. I know exactly what you mean. You just want a man to take charge and just be some form of like assertive.
Yeah. Even if we're splitting it.
Yeah.
It's not really ideal, but like.
Tell me and I'll tap.
Yeah, exactly.
What red flag have you ignored the most in your past relationships?
There's so many.
Honestly, there's just so many. I would like to think that I would not ignore them now because I've kind of been through them, but like...
I think it's actually the smaller things, like rather than the bigger things.
Yeah, I agree. It's always about the smaller things.
And it's like those things that you sort of like, you notice and are in the back of your head and you're like, oh, but you just ignore it. And I don't know why you do that. And I think it's a girl thing as well. Like you're like, no, that's not a thing. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think like you just want someone, don't you, that's communicative and that you trust and that like all the little things that end up becoming the bigger things are the red flags. And you don't want someone that's in loads of like, you know, girls' likes on Instagram and following loads of like girls at all that they don't really know. Yeah. I couldn't name one, but I think that we're at a point where I'd like to speak for myself. I'd like to think I'm at a point where
I think
I'm not seeing them anymore.
Yeah. I think it's like white lies from the get-go.
Yeah, you don't want to start something on
And
lies.
but white lies are like the
little things that don't seem a big thing, but it's still a lie.
And it's like, why would you lie about that? Like, that's such a strange, small little lie to make, and actually doesn't really make any kind of difference in the whole scheme of things right now. But I think, I don't know, like, if when people have done that at the beginning, it then turns out that, you know, they're also like lying about like big things.
Yeah. What red flag do you think you've been guilty of yourselves? Yeah, I think we've all like been a bit like I know I've been quite hot and cold in the past, like with like emotions and texting, like, yeah, I really like you, and then like, who are you? Like, you know, when you're just not sure and you kind of want a bit of attention. But I think ghosting is a red flag.
I think ghosting is a red flag, and I've done it once.
And it's not nice.
And I like, even like, it's just like really, I think it's just really immature. And I just think like, just show someone some decency and just let them know where you stand.
And don't be afraid of the honest, slightly uncomfortable conversation, because in my younger years, I was afraid of those uncomfortable conversations, and I would try to like avoid that at all costs by actually going about things in the wrong way. So I would like end up like not replying to things and not having like slightly more awkward conversations that were very necessary now looking back, and that I would never not have them now, but I would try and avoid that, and actually I'd make a whole situation 10 times worse. But you know, you live and you learn.
You do.
Right, so lesson number 3, lessons in reality TV. What is the biggest misconception about reality stars?
Ooh, where do we start? That they're people and words don't hurt them?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think, you know, a lot of people might think that because you subject yourself onto television and because you're on TV, that you can, you know, people can say what they want and that words don't hurt, and that they are entitled to then bring an opinion because I've put myself on TV, which is not the case. Look, I've done Made in Chelsea for 5 years, and it's been like the best 5 years ever, and we've got to travel the world, and I filmed with some of my best friends, and you know, I've got memories to look back on, memories that I'll have a lifetime. It's given me the most incredible platform to go on and have other opportunities, and you know, even be sitting here now. But it comes with a lot of like hardship. You're sort of, you know, putting yourself out there to a huge amount of public scrutiny, to people's opinions, to press articles, to quite a bit of negativity. It takes a, you know, toll on you mentally. But then it also comes with so many perks. So it's sort of just like weighing up the pros and the cons, and you know, the pros obviously outweigh the cons, but you know, it's not something that people want to do forever. Your priorities as you get older do change, and you want different things, I guess.
What would your advice be though to someone that's thinking about, oh, like I want to go into reality TV? Like, what would be like your like number one piece of advice?
I think you've just got to try and do everything you can to enjoy it, because it's not forever, and be really present with it, and also just try and not take it really personally, and remind yourself that you're working, remind yourself that it's a television show. Yes, it's reality. Yes, it's not scripted. They are following our lives, but with that comes a television show and a production team, and you know, there's a lot that goes into it, more than people see. And you know, we are filming these scenes for hours and hours, and like a long time, which is then cut into 30 seconds, 60 seconds. People aren't seeing the full context. And I think it would be good to be reminded of that. And, you know, if you're going into reality TV, or that's something you want to go into, oh my God, it's amazing. But just brace yourself that it's not as glamorous as it may all look, and it's testing. It's testing.
I think also like knowing that you need to be in a really like mentally in a really strong place, and like in a place within yourself that you feel really confident and secure within yourself.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I could imagine that for someone going on to reality TV that, you know, maybe isn't in like the best place with their mental health already, or you know, maybe isn't in a place where they feel like super secure and confident in themselves, it's probably not like the right space, because you are subject then to like all of these things naturally. And I think there has to be a part of you that is able to, you know, ignore it and brush it off, and know that, you know, at the end of the day, people are only seeing a snippet of, and that's not a reflection on me.
No, totally. But also, in that same breath, I don't think I think I'm far more confident and self-assured now. And I think that came with putting myself in that position for I don't think I joined a particularly relentless, tough, confident person. If anything, I think I was really not that, but learned to become that in myself through the experience of it all. And you know, I've completely come out another person for all the right reasons. And yeah, I agree. Oh my god, who is the most iconic? Who would you say is the most iconic reality star of all time?
Ooh,
that's a really good question.
That's
actually,
a really good
it's got
question.
me thinking.
I don't know, because I mean, like, reality TV's like come on so far, hasn't it? In the last few years, like, and it's really changed.
Gemma Collins is up there for me.
I would say she's probably up there for me as well.
She's iconic.
Yeah, she's got
everything
great one-liners. It's like the one-liners for me.
That
and even
Celebrity
like now,
Big Brother series that she did.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Get the fire exit door, I'm out. Like, that was honestly, that was just brilliant. And she thought she saw the ghost. It was so good.
Yeah.
But I also think that they're like, sorry, I'm spitting. I also think that there's so many, like, reality TV is so different to what it once was. Like, you can't get away with what you used to be able to get away with. Like, the rules and regulations now are so much different. Tighter. There's, you know, back then, like, I watched some of the like past episodes of certain programs, and I think, oh my god,
how did they get away with it?
How did they get away with that?
Yeah,
but it makes great TV.
It does.
I do love the Kardashians. I watched it for years. I think Kylie Jenner is just iconic. Kim Kardashian, iconic.
Khloe?
I think Khloe's iconic. She's probably like, I'm slightly less interested in Khloe. I think she holds herself so well and like speaks so articulately, and I agree with basically everything that comes out of her mouth. But like, when I'm looking at like fashion and clothes and Instagram pages and what people are up to, I'm slightly more invested in Kylie and Kim.
Yeah, I agree. So am I.
Yeah, less so like Kourtney and Khloe, but I still like think they're great. I'm speaking about them like they're my friends.
I know, so do I though. I feel like we all do.
Oh my god, there were some iconic moments in there, like with the earrings in the ocean.
The earring. Oh, it's not the ring. Yeah,
it's the earrings. Her diamond studs. And like, she got married for 60 days.
Yeah.
To Chris.
Iconic. Chris. I don't know what his surname is.
Yeah, Humphreys.
Oh, that's it.
Crime Watch. What shows would... Okay, so I have always said, since I sort of joined Made in Chelsea, since I got into television, I would love to do more TV. ITV. No, I would love to do The Jungle. I'd love to do I'm a Celeb, Get Me Out of Here. That would be my dream show.
I think you would be hilarious on it.
It would be so nice for people to see me in a different light. I would do every challenge. I think I'd look great in the little, like, you know, uniform. What do they wear? Those hats. And like, I would love to do that. I would love to do something fixed rig. I would do Celeb Big Brother. What else would I do?
I would like to see you do like something like that as well, because like you said, I think like people will really like get to know you a bit better.
Yeah, because I feel like it's all quite one-dimensional on the show that I'm on, naturally so, and there's only so much of me that you can see and that gets aired. So to do a show in a different light and something completely different that's also me outside my comfort zone in some ways, and people seeing a completely different side to me that's like a bit more vulnerable, would be great, and I think like challenging in all the right ways. So
there you go, ITV.
Okay guys, we're going to start with dilemma number 1. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hey Ruby and Georgina, help. My boyfriend wants us to try a threesome with another woman. I'm not really keen, but I don't want to let him down. This is the first time he has said this in 2 years. What should I do? Does this mean I'm not enough?
Run.
For the hills. I would absolutely... Yeah. If you are not comfortable with that, and I would not be comfortable with that, I would just say, hey, not for me. And if you're unhappy about this, I'm going to go and find a new boyfriend.
Correct. That's exactly what I would do.
Because, you know, I am far too jealous, and that would not do it for me. So, you know, this is your relationship, this is your life, and if it's something that you're not happy with, then you have to stand up for yourself and make it clear.
You know, each to their own. If that's what you're into, then by all means. But
who are we to judge?
Yeah, who are we to judge? But yeah, run.
I hope that doesn't mean that he thinks you're not enough. I hope that means he doesn't think that you're not enough, because you are absolutely, definitely enough, more than enough. I don't know enough about them and their relationship for me to feel like I can say that his thoughts might be going there. I think if you know...
I think it's I don't ever think like, and it's kind of, I mean, it's the same thing in, what am I trying to say? I don't think it does mean that, you know, he doesn't think she is enough.
I
think it's more of a he needs more or he wants something else.
Sexual fantasies.
I don't know. I think it's a him problem.
It's definitely not a you problem, honey.
And he needs to, like, maybe he needs to obviously be with someone that's, like, that's cool with that.
Completely. Okay, confession time. I was away in Ibiza with my girls and I recently had got engaged to my boyfriend of 5 years. Well, congratulations. We were all on the dance floor of this beautiful beach club as the sun was setting and this extremely hot guy approached me.
I don't know, where this is going.
I don't know what came over me. But I just kissed him. After we left the club, all of my girlfriends said that they wouldn't say anything ever about it, but I feel awful. It didn't mean anything to me, but if my fiance did this to me, I'd be fuming. This is this is not good.
I mean, I actually think, I think it would eat away at you. Like, so
I think it would. I don't think you want to set your engagement off like that, honey.
I think you have to say something.
I think you do too.
Because I just don't, like, I think it will, like, forever haunt you.
And what did we talk about earlier? Having those awkward, uncomfortable conversations for the better good.
That's not really what I was insinuating towards, but no. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you'll want to walk down the aisle to your husband that you clearly love, your fiance that you clearly love, knowing that the night you got engaged, you snogged another man, sunset or no sunset, Ibiza or no Ibiza. I think for the sake of you internally and trying to do the right thing, I think you can work through this on the basis that you're honest about what happened, because I think you'll feel better in yourself. And I think as uncomfortable and as difficult it will be, it's the right thing to do.
Being honest is the right thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, like, obviously, like, I feel like guys get quite a hard time with, like, the lads trips abroad, but, like, we go on girls trips.
Yeah,
not that we're doing what, but, like, you know,
not that I'm doing anything.
No, but
I've witnessed things.
Privy to.
Yes, exactly. I do. I agree.
Girls can be worse.
Girls can be a lot worse. I do think guys get, like, a hard time with it.
So they guys like to talk the talk with it all, don't they, more than we do? It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on a shagathon.
And they're almost a bit proud of it as well.
Yeah,
like they're a bit like, yeah, I don't care, like this is what I'm just gonna do.
I know. How would you feel if you're in a, like, long-term committed relationship and your boyfriend was like, yeah, going away with like 10 boys for a long weekend, we're going to Magaluf? Would you be like, you do you, hon?
Like Magaluf?
I'm just trying to think of a, like, naughty place. Ibiza. Let's say Ibiza.
Place. Okay.
You know, he's going to Ibiza for 4 days.
I wouldn't have a problem with it because I actually think it's a red flag if you don't trust them.
I agree.
I honestly.
So you checking him in, packing his case?
I'm packing his case for him.
Okay.
I'll maybe like write a little note. No. I just think, yeah, I think if you don't have those like foundations and that trust within the relationship,
trust
like
is everything.
you're not good. Like it's never going to work.
No.
Like. I think you need to be able to trust someone to be able to go on holiday for 4 days.
I do agree. And I also think that time apart is healthy. And I think you can't do absolutely everything together. And you have to live your own lives to an extent and, you know, keep up your friendships and be able to holiday without them. And it's nice to miss someone, but you can't do that in the right way if you don't have the trust.
Exactly. And I also would encourage people to take a little look inwards at why they're feeling... maybe no why they're feeling potentially like anxious about their partner going away, because it may be because like your partner's made you feel that way, like because of like previous situations, but I think often it's because people don't trust themselves and they're like, well, I don't trust myself, and I know that if I went on a holiday and on a girl's holiday, maybe I would get up to no good. Like I sometimes think the most like jealous people are actually like the people that would probably do it to the other person, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I did ask you guys for some of your like dating dilemmas and like funny stories because I just thought it'd be quite fun for us to like unpack. Should I go through some of the things I've been sent?
Go on.
Some of them are actually really quite shocking. So they've purposely asked to stay anonymous and I completely see why. Right, so someone has said... First time I met my now ex-boyfriend's stepmom, she dragged me into Ann Summers. Can you imagine?
I can't, no.
Brilliant. He invited me to watch him play rugby, and someone else I was dating was in his team. That's brilliant.
No.
What do you do in that situation? I guess it's like if you've not gone on a date with them before and you don't really owe each other anything, then like that's just awkward. But you haven't really done anything wrong.
Does she mean she is dating both of them, or does like what does that? Can we just
like
reread
me to
that?
Watch
like
him play rugby, yeah. And someone else I was dating was on his team.
So she's dating the pair of them at the same time.
It looks like it, yeah.
I get confused with the whole terminology of dating and things. I feel like
it's
very
so,
like
so loose,
I'm assuming like there's
maybe
no
exclusivity.
Dated. No, I'm assuming there's no exclusivity and she's just seeing two different people.
But what if how awkward would it be if, let's say she was now dating the guy she's gone to watch play rugby, and then there was just someone on the team, but she didn't know she was like her long-time ex.
Oh, okay. Well, that's quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
But also that happens, like, you break up with people, you move on.
Okay, so someone has written in, a boy sat on my loo for 45 minutes scrolling TikTok after a one-night stand. I had to knock. Can you imagine? She obviously was like, what are you doing in there? Knock, knock. 45 minutes. Someone's gone to your bathroom.
Why did it take her 45 minutes to knock on the toilet?
Maybe she was like, he needs to go, so I'm like just going to give him some time. And then it got to 45 minutes and she was like, are you okay in there? Imagine them just not coming out the bathroom. So someone's actually taken the time to privately DM me. Whoa. Because it was too long for the question box. So here we go. Starting with too long for the box. Years ago, I was seeing a guy, said he was single but still living with his ex for financial reasons.
Oh, I've heard this one too many times.
No, I don't. But was trying desperately to get out. I did question it several times, but he was so convincing. We were seeing each other for a bit. I did question it several times, but he was so convincing. We were seeing each other for a bit, but very casually. I really liked him. Then he went on holiday. I found out whilst he was away that he was on his honeymoon with his pregnant wife.
That's
Sorry, so he said that he was living with his ex for financial reasons, was desperately trying to get out. Obviously pursue this girl, the girl in question, the girl that's written in. He was very convincing with it all. They were started to see each other, is what she's saying. We were seeing each other for a bit, very casually. I really liked him. Then he went on holiday. His holiday was a fucking honeymoon.
I would love to know how she found that out.
Oh my God. I'd love to know. I'd like to respond to her, actually. I'm going to respond and ask how she found out. We'll let them know. Oh my God.
Honeymoon.
That's really bad.
So he was already he was married.
I don't know why I'm not married yet. God, that's awful.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Guys, thank you so much for having us. We've had so much fun being the supply teachers for the day, and hopefully see you very soon. Lots of love.